Hello, families, and hello, my sweet littles. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I have special things this week that are coming up. We will have a craft, but it won't be on Friday. It'll probably be on Wednesday. So hopefully some of you can join me for that. But also, we do have our end of the year celebration that we will be conducting on Friday. So let your parents know that you would like to attend Friday at 11. All of the teachers and hopefully all of you will be joining us to say one last goodbye before the end of the year. However, I still will be doing Zoom circles with you for crafting, so please look for that. And of course, I will always be reading you a book every day. So there will be some consistent things that you will see even if school is already over. Well, today I wanted to share with you a book that my mom gave to me and to also my sister a long time ago. This says homemade, and on this word it says recipes. And this book is a book that you can add things to it yourself and write things in it yourself. So what my mom wanted to do is to give my sister and I recipes that we would be able to share with our families from the years to come that we were loving when we were little. So she made a recipe book, and inside it she typed up and printed the different recipes that we would have with her that she would make and that we loved. And so all throughout this book is our personal family cookbook. And then after she did that, she also included, let me find them for you. She also included a couple pictures of different items that we shared together. And here is a picture of my mom in our kitchen in our first house and a long time ago. And I actually don't think me or my sister are in that picture, but what we did do is we used to be a part of something called Campfire Girls, which is sort of like Girl Scouts, and we were called Sparks. And my mom was helping all of the children make Easter eggs, the panoramic eggs out of sugar. So if you can see in the picture, the kids are decorating and making sugar eggs. And it was something that we used to do when we were little, and I truly enjoyed it. And then as time went on, there's pages inside of here that allow me to write my own recipes. So here's a recipe that I made. I haven't included a photo yet, but here's my handwriting. So later on, when I have filled this book up, then I might be able to give it to Joshua. Do you have something that's been passed down from your family members? Maybe your grandmother has given to your mother, and then she has shared it with you? There's a very large truck outside. I'm so sorry, and the windows are open, so that's why there's some loud sounds. So if you do have something that has been passed down from one family member to the next, you can always treasure that, because it means that someone you love has given thought and energy and put that into that item, and then they have wanted you to share it with more and more people in your family, and it becomes something called a family heirloom. Heirloom meaning that it's been passed down and that it's special to you. So if you have a family heirloom, or if you have something that's been passed down from family member to family member, maybe take a picture for me and put it up on our site, because I'd love to see your family heirlooms. Okay, well, you know what time it is. It's lavender time, and we're gonna light our candle. So let's go ahead and start doing that. There's my oil. And behind me, I don't know if you can see, I don't think you can, but I have rose incense burning right now. So I have the smell of roses already in the house, and now the smell of lavender, which I absolutely love. And let's light our candle. Oh, well, the garbage trucks are here. I know that some of you love, there it goes, love the garbage trucks. And so hopefully that was interesting for you who love to see it. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit, but I'm gonna recover because that's what we do. There's our candle. And it's finally a little bit quiet. I'm gonna put the candle right there. There, you can see it now. Okay, now I'm gonna be reading a book that Joshua and I got from the library book sale, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And it's a special book for Joshua and I, or at least for me. So I've tried to read this book a couple of times and I was unsuccessful, but today I think would be a good day to read it. So this one is called Kite, Flier, and you can see a young boy and a father flying a kite. And this one is by Dennis Haseley and illustrated by David Weissner. So let's go ahead and read this book. And here are all the clouds. My father told me that when he was young, he had traveled far from his home. Finally, he had come to a house on a hill overlooking a village. He learned that trade of stonework. He learned the trade of stonework, while above him the clouds floated like silk. So he was a stone worker. Look at that sky. Then he married the beautiful daughter of a farmer, and he began to fly kites. He made kites of paper and wood that looked like crickets and cats, and a heron kite made of white silk. He flew them while my mother watched, and then, like a fisherman, he reeled them in, and while she laughed, he showed her what he'd caught. So here are the beautiful kites that he's flying. And there he is, reeling in the catch of the day, his catches. What a fantastic kite he made. And there she is, laughing and having fun. The children of the village watched our house on the hill and the kites flying overhead, and they said, "Kite Flier is a wizard and can fly anything, even the stones he sets during the day." He laughed when he heard this. He knew it was his heart that was flying. So here are the kites, but he knows that he's put all of his energy and love into each one of them, and really he was flying his heart up in the air because he finally met someone that he loved. After they were married for a time, my mother gave birth to me and became sick and died. And then Kite Flier made no kites. But one day, a scrap of silk from an old heron kite caught in the wind and flew over my cradle, and my father heard me laugh. So he started making kites for me. So there's the baby, and there's the piece of silk. And there's the kites, and he's bending the wood to create a new kite. It looks like a fish. "Watch," he said, as I lay on a blanket, and beneath a crescent moon, my father flew a kite that looked like the crescent moon. "And there," he shouted, and in a field of flowers, he flew a kite like a blowing flower that I chased with my first steps. And when the children in the village saw the shapes flying, they came to our door and said, "Kite Flier, sell us your kites." He only shook his head and smiled. Look what he made. Kites that look like flowers. Isn't that beautiful? As I grew older, my father flew kites. The day I learned to swim, he launched a paper body of a fish with my proud head on it, and I laughed to see it skim and dive. And when I fell from a tree, I twisted my leg. He carried me home and sat with me all night. And in the sky above us flew the gentle face of a woman. And the day I killed a rabbit with a stone, he angrily sent me back to our house. And later I saw him fly a kite that flashed like lightning in the sky. Like a fisherman who never lost a catch, he reeled in each kite and saved it. Later, he taught me to build one. It was small and square, and when I ran with it, it kicked like a puppy before it rose. I grew taller and stronger and played in the village with the other boys who were no longer so interested in kites. As I spent less time with my father, he dreamed up kites that I would love. Kites of jackknives and dragons and mass kites that skipped across the sky as I ran, and 2 fighter kites, one that always chased the other. So look, he made him a dragon kite, and he's with his friends, but he still sees his father high up in the sky thinking of him. One day, my father launched a silver kite that rose and rose, and I closed my eyes and pretended I was soaring. I could see so far, and he was so small on the ground beneath me. Filled with faraway thoughts, I sat and gazed at the road, or drew with a stick in the dirt. My father flew kites of blue and purple streamers that circled over me, and I would look at them sometimes, so pale they were almost invisible. There, look at how beautiful. Finally, there came a day when all the kites my father flew could not make me smile or speak. So far away were my thoughts. And I came to my father and said that I was now a young man and I wished to go see the world away from my home. No, you must stay, said my father in a voice as heavy as a rock. I could see the colors of the kites behind him start to run, but I said, I'm so sorry. I must travel now, as you did when you were a young man. That night, my father and I set to work. We gathered those kites that he had built for my mother and for me, cricket kites, kites like moons, like ships and cats, and for days and days he worked, carefully sewing the silk, gluing the bright paper while I held and bent the thin wood. He worked with all his craft, and I with all my strength, until we built a huge kite. On a windy morning, he carried it from our house, and I walked behind watching as he bent beneath a magnificent kite in the shape of a bird. It was streaked with colors of the sky and stone, and its wings, when they caught the morning sun, glowed with colors of flames. Together we held tightly to the line, and as the bird dove and tossed, we held on as it tugged in the morning wind, and then, watching as it soared in the clear air, first I, then he let go. As the kite disappeared into the sky, my father gave a cry, and then I walked down the hill to the road, and he turned and walked toward the village. I have not seen my father in a long time, but I know that always on the first strong wind of the year, each of us climbs a hill and sets a kite free. me try that again. Bum, bum. Joshua and I got this so many years ago, and I haven't read it since the day we bought it. But I absolutely love this book, and I'm glad that I was able to share it with all of you. I remember going to the library book sale and then going to the farmer's market and laying out on the grass, watching kites fly. As we read this book later on in the evening, we remembered the kites flying. It was an interesting time. I hope all of you enjoyed the book, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday. And I'll be sure to post more information about any of our crafts that we're going to be doing this week. I love all of you. Mwah.